So, good evening, everybody. I think we're connected. Good evening, there, beauty. So, we're now into summer. I believe that yesterday was the longest day in the year. Yeah? So, now the days get shorter again. Good evening, Manu. Okay, so finally summer is here. It's not that warm here, mind you. So I hope you're all well. Good evening, MX25. I hope you're all well and they've finally let you out of your lockdown. Maybe yes, maybe no. So let's start with some idioms as we normally do. Um, you will always find a solution to a problem that you really want to solve. Where there's a good evening, Victor, nice to see you, and good evening, Lavinia and Boyka. Yeah, you will always find a solution to a problem that you really want to solve. Good evening, Jack, Andreas, Rengithal, good evening, Judith and Lizzie, wonderful to see you, Ricardo. You will always find a solution to a problem that you really want to solve. Where there's a Hi Naima. Where there's here we go. Very good. Boyka, very good. Ricardo, very good. And Beauty, yes. And Maesh and Lutch. So where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah? Okay. So do you know the other meaning of a will? Okay, a will is a person's testament. When they die, they leave their goods to someone. Yeah? So sometimes they say where there's a will, there's a group of fighting relatives as well. So, hi there, Abadir. And let's try another one. Okay, next one's reasonably easy. I think you may know this one as well. So, good evening, Mohammed and Razgar. That's correct. Where there's a will, there's a way. And Gertrudis. Good evening, David. Yeah, a will is a testament. Exactly, Ranjith Fal. And Emmanuel. Yeah, a will, a testament. So, here it says... Next one says, change makes life interesting. Variety is the... So, variety is the what? Variety is the... Makes things interesting. Change makes life interesting. That word life is a clue as well. Salt of life. Is the sort of life. That's the meaning, but it's not the phrase. And Andreas, well done. Good evening, Rizgar, again. So, Amir, good evening. Lutch. An Indian guru used to say that where there's a will, there's a war. That's true as well. Variety is the key. So, look what Andreas put, and Emmanuel. Okay, and Count Beauty. Yes, and Victor, and David, well done. Lolly, well done. The spice of life. And English Vibes, variety is the spice of life. Okay, so spices are things that make food interesting, like cinnamon and nutmeg and mace and pepper and things like that. Spices. I love spices. Yeah, I'm a real fan of spicy food. So, variety is the spice of life. Good evening, Amin. Nice to see you. Well done, Naima. Variety is the spice of life. Yeah? So, doing different things. Okay, Daniela Fur. Daniela, thank you. So, good evening, Sheena. Okay, so the next one is one I quite like. A search that has no hope of success is often called a chase. So a search that has no hope of success, yeah, is when they send you off to do something that's impossible. A hopeless chase. Yes, that's the idea, engine thou. But they often call it so. Change is necessary. Ooh, hubby, well done. That was quick, right in there. Good evening to you, hubby. Yeah? So, let's see. And Andrea. So, do you know what a goose is? A goose is like a big duck. Yeah, that's a goose. So we say, well done, the Smith. A wild goose chase. A wild goose chase. So I was sent on a wild goose chase to find something that was just impossible to find. A wild goose chase, yeah. Looking for something that you're not going to find. And normally it can be for someone else. It could be for yourself as well. So a wild goose chase is not very profitable or very good use of your time going on a wild goose chase. So when the dog heard the word food mentioned, he pricked his goose geese. Exactly, hubby. Good. Yeah. A wild goose chase. Currency, Boyka. Currency. Currency. To send somebody on a wild goose chase. To send them to do something that they're not going to be able to do. Okay, so Ricardo, that was very good as well. So when you listen carefully, yeah, when the dog heard the word food mentioned, he pricked up his ears. So we both Ricardo and English vibes. His ears moved towards you. Pricked up his ears. He pricked up his ears. Yeah, so to prick up your ears, to listen. Like lend his ears more intently. Yes, that's good English vibes. He pricked up his ears. Absolutely, hubby. Yeah, to prick up your ears, to start listening carefully and much more intensely. Okay, the next one I think is reasonably easy. The next one's an idiom for to get married. If someone tries to beat me, it would be just a wild goose chase, because nobody can beat you, Sheena. I know it. Yeah, to prick up his ears without the H. You hear with an H with your ears. Well, in this case, it's prick up. It's point upwards. To point towards the thing that you're listening to. Yeah, here prick up has the idea of intensified the use of. Okay, so Ricardo, that was very easy, wasn't it? And Lolly and Ranjithal as well. So notice the Smith, it's the knot, not a knot. The knot is marriage. So to tie the knot. And notice, even though it's got a K, get hitched, absolutely. It's pronounced like not, as in a negative. To tie the knot, absolutely. In singular, just tie the knot. Okay? So, ooh, this next one's quite good. This next one's got lots of answers. Okay, so in the previous one, to tie the knot, to get married, but it's got to be the knot. Yeah, to get married. When I heard about the live stream, I pricked up my ears. Absolutely, Sheena, it's a great example. To walk the aisle, yeah, you could say that as well. I would say to walk down the aisle, or even up the aisle. Okay, so when somebody is embarrassed, they go as red as a... I think this one's quite difficult. So, tomato works, but I'm not looking for tomato. I'm looking for a vegetable. Tomato's a fruit. As red as a lobster. Normally as red as a lobster lolly is when I lie in the sun. You go to the beach in summer and everyone and the English people are as red as a lobster. As red as blood, that also works, Ermine. As red as a rose, as red as a lobster. But no, I'm still looking for another vegetable. Mr. MMA, good evening. As red as a cherry, that would work, Sheena. As red as a tomato, as red as a chili, as red as a rose. No. Oh, Andreas. Yes. Okay, that's the answer. As red, and Hassie, as red as a beetroot. Okay, a beetroot is a root vegetable like this, and it's purple. Yeah, and in English, when somebody's very embarrassed, we use the phrase as red as a beetroot. He went beetroot red. He was extremely embarrassed. He went as red as a beetroot. Yeah, a beetroot. I think the Russians have a dish called borscht, and I think you use beetroot to make borscht. Okay, so good evening again. Yes, English vibes, as red as a beetroot. That's it, Ermine. A beetroot, as red as a beetroot. Beetroot's talking about being embarrassed. Yeah, but there are lots and lots of other good and easy answers. Okay, now let's try the next one. So, I was as red as a beetroot. That's it, and again. Okay, this next one I think most of you know. This one's quite a simple one. Yeah, this one says that bad things have their good side. Yes, Javi, remolacha. Betrave también. Okay. So, bad things have their good side. Every cloud has a... to squirm, to move around, like a worm moving backwards and forwards. So, every cloud has... English Vibes and Ricardo have got it. She went beetroot suddenly. That works really nicely, Mr. MMA. It means she was incredibly embarrassed. Okay, Ranjithal, a silver lining has its silver lining. So, yes, that's good. Sheena, Maesh, Lolly, De Smith. Okay, Abedi, it has a silver lining. Well done, Gertrudis, and Lutch, and Ermine. Every cloud has a silver lining. So you see this word lining. The lining is the interior of something. Maybe you have a coat and it's black outside and inside there's a textile, and that is the lining. Yeah, that is the lining. So it's the interior made of silver. Yeah. So on the outside a cloud is white or grey, but inside it has a silver lining, as Naima says there. Okay, and let's try one last one, and then maybe we could try the story. So here we go. Yes, this one is about waiting a long time for something. A ray of hope, a silver lining. Maybe a ray of hope is something on the horizon, something that's coming. Okay, so this next one is talking about waiting. It says you will have to wait for a very, very long time. Yeah, to wait for a very long time. You will have to wait home. So, oh, Count Beauty, that was quick. Yeah, to wait for a very long time. Yeah, you will have to wait, and Javi. You need the cows, Javi. Yeah, until the cows come home. So, you will have to wait till the cows come home, Ricardo. Start milking themselves. Yes, that's never going to happen until the cows come home. For eternity. That's the idea of it. To wait a very long time, to wait for eternity. Until the cows come home, MMA. Okay? Until the cows come home. So I think it's time for us to change, and I think it's story time. So let's see. This story is called The Butcher, the Shepherd, and the Lamb. Or When Pigs Might Fly, absolutely. So this story is about a butcher. A butcher is a person who sells meat. Yes, Naima, that's it, for ages. So, the butcher, the shepherd, and the lamb. Yeah, the butcher, the shepherd, and the lamb. So a butcher's a person who sells sheep, or sells meat. A shepherd is a person who looks after sheep. Bah! Good evening, Fit. And the lamb is a baby sheep. And then I've got two questions to go with it. Yeah, it's a funny idiom. Why did the lamb offer herself to the shepherd? And what moral would you give the story? Yeah, what moral would you give the story, and why did the lamb offer herself to the shepherd? So listen. A shepherd and a butcher were walking along the road together. They saw a plump little lamb who had wandered away from the flock and was lost. The shepherd and the butcher both rushed to grab the lamb. When the lamb found out what their professions were, she offered herself to the shepherd. She said to the butcher, "You are nothing but an executioner of sheep. The shepherd, on the other hand, will want me to have a family with many children." German shepherd is the dog, exactly. So, why did the lamb offer herself to the shepherd, and what moral would you give the story? Let me read it again. A shepherd and a butcher were walking along the road together. They saw a plump little lamb who had wandered away from the flock and was lost. The shepherd and the butcher both rushed to grab the lamb. When the lamb found out what their professions were, she offered herself to the shepherd. She said to the butcher, "You are nothing but an executioner of sheep. The shepherd, on the other hand, will want me to have a family with many children." So, why did the lamb offer herself to the shepherd? Let me read it one more time. A shepherd and a butcher were walking along the road together. They saw a plump little lamb who had wandered away from the flock and was lost. The shepherd and the butcher both rushed to grab the lamb. To grab, to take. When the lamb found out what their professions were, she offered herself to the butcher. To the shepherd, sorry. Yeah, to the shepherd. She said to the butcher, "You are nothing but an executioner of sheep. The shepherd, on the other hand, will want me to have a family with many children." So, good evening, Montespan. So let's see, Sheena. In order to save its life, it offered itself to the shepherd. Absolutely, Sheena. The lamb is not willing to die so soon. Exactly, Habby. And Lolly, because the butcher executes or will execute the lamb, but the shepherd will allow the lamb to have a family. Voltaire, the sheep would have a better fate with the shepherd than with the butcher. Absolutely. Because the butcher is a lamb executioner. I would say an executioner of lambs. Fit. Count Beauty. The lamb wanted to save, with a V, its own life, and the shepherd may provide it with the opportunity on The other hand, the butcher is just a killer for the lamb. Absolutely, Count Beauty. Naima, the lamb preferred to have a new family with the shepherd instead of being cut up by the butcher. Naima. Piten, the lamb offered herself to the shepherd because it was obviously the best option. The butcher would probably slaughter it. Good word, slaughter. However, the shepherd would take care of it. Lutch, the lamb would rather live, thrive and have a family than be slaughtered. Was it a rogue lamb? Maybe, yeah. I'm not sure if the lamb was a rogue or if it had just moved away. Huh. So Federico, plump, P-L-U-M-P. I'm going to write that, P-L-U-M-P. I think we saw this last week. Plump means fat. Okay, so Federico, a plump little lamb. Okay, the lamb offered herself to the shepherd as she thought she would be safe and sound. The unprecedented care of the shepherd, in the care of the shepherd, in the unprecedented care of the shepherd. The Smith, the lamb offered herself to live and have a family. Absolutely. Manu, the lamb preferred to go with the shepherd because he would let her have a family. I think not gone would have let her have a family. Reza, the lamb wins to live longer and form a family. The lamb has a whim to live longer. Unfortunately, Reza, whim is only a noun. So the whim of the lamb's whim is to live longer. So, poor lamb from Montespan, Abadir. The lamb may survive longer as she took refuge with the shepherd. The Smith, moral, our aim is to live and let others with an S live. Count Beauty, choose the lesser of two evils. Absolutely, Count Beauty. Here, Hossein, deja vu, something you've already seen before. And English vibes, the butcher would kill the lamb straight away. And perhaps the shepherd would want to rejoice if the lamb thrived, had life, or prospered in life. And Muhammad again. Moral. I am, therefore all things are. Okay, I like that. So I'm glad you like it, Montespan. Boyka, moral. Try to think smartly, even in serious situations, as the lamb, which had only Hobson's choice. Good use of Hobson's choice, Boyka. I see you've learnt something. Okay, Amir, the lamb endeavours to be alive, and being with the shepherd was the most reasonable option. Good, Amir. Sheena, self-defence is everyone's right. That's good. Lizzie, death is inevitable. At least enjoy life until it comes knocking on your door. I think that's a really good phrase, Lizzie. I love it. Javi, better the devil you know. That's right, Javi. And Ricardo, it is way more beneficial to live in tranquil captivity than end up on somebody else's plate. Absolutely. I quite agree. Moral. I am, therefore all things are. Okay. And Manu. The lamb had a great spirit of survival, so it chose the better solution. Good English, Manu. An arbitrary future was expecting the lamb. You're quite right, Rizgar, and that's good English. And English vibes. Yet shepherd was the least dangerous here. I'm not sure about that yet. I would just say the shepherd was the least dangerous here. Gracias a la vida. Viva la vida, Montespan. And Lolly, moral, choose the people who want you well. Yes, that's good. Your actions exude your morality, so don't indulge in immoral work. That's a great one. This is obvious. Okay, Regenthal. And Lutch, the lamb needs a shepherd not to get lost. Wouldn't it wouldn't that be why we came up with religion? Maybe. And Voltaire, better to choose the lesser evil. Rangithal, obvious, who wants to get killed? So Rangithal, obvious, who wants to die or who wants to get killed? And Manna King, my basketball coach culled the lackadaisical player from the team. Correct English, but absolutely nothing to do with this class, Manna King. And Montespan. Okay, so I should read this story. I think this is a good moment to read it, because otherwise the class gets a bit boring if I continue reading people's people's offerings and suggestions. Okay, so the story is called The Butcher, the Shepherd, and the Lamb. Okay, and we're going to have this. I'm going to read it in a second when the text appears. Okay, so we've got this word plump, which means fat, and Javi, he, she, they raised their morale tremendously by choosing the shepherd. A stitch in time saves 9. Okay, Naima, all my stories come from Aesop, an ancient Greek. So, a shepherd and a butcher were walking along the road together. So they're walking along the road, and they saw a plump, a fat little lamb who had wandered away from the flock, who had walked away from the flock. The flock is the group of sheep, and was lost. The shepherd and the butcher both went quickly to grab, to catch, to take the lamb. And when the lamb discovered what their professions were, she offered herself to the shepherd. Shepherd, please take me. She said to the butcher, you are nothing but an executioner of sheep. You murder sheep. The shepherd, on the other hand, will want me to have a family, to thrive, and to have many children. So, and let's see, the golden rule again, like do unto others what you would have them do unto you. That's good English. Okay, Reza, I love folk stories as well. Good evening, Charlotte. And nothing can ever be more precious than the life given by God. True. Ricardo, I need to head off. Many thanks. Okay, thanks for coming, Ricardo. Wonder, thinking, wonder. I wonder what time it is. And wander, to walk around. Wonder, to think. Wander, to walk around. To discover means to ascertain as well. Oh, what a clever lamb. Okay, guys, so let's go into the final bit now. I'm just going to ask you a couple of easy questions. Well, maybe not so easy. So first question, what's the opposite of opaque? Opaque. What's the opposite of opaque? Opaque. What's the opposite of opaque? That's a difficult question to start with, isn't it? What's the opposite of opaque? What a clever little lamb, definitely. So, what is the opposite of opaque? Opaque. What's the opposite of opaque? Well done, Voltaire. Lamb. Why not sheep? It's supposed to be with the shepherd to grow. To die young, maybe too light with less meat. It's frightening. Plump and stroll or wander. Okay, they're good words. Diaphanous. No. Diaphanous means all one open space. Transparent. Yes, De Smith. Yes, Sheena. Yes. And Elizabeth. Lizzie. Transparent. Pale. It's a good try, but you need the word transparent. Ooh, almost said translucent. I like that as well. So if something is opaque, you can't see through it. My hand is opaque, but this is transparent. Yeah? Translucid, that would do as well. Yeah, it lets light go through. Transparent Mona, and Count Beauty. Opaque, lucid. Lucid is to do with thoughts. Visible, crystal clear. I like crystal clear. Visible, Victor, means you are able to see it. So, next one's really easy. How many are there in a dozen? How many are there in a dozen? How many are there in a dozen? Clear, that would do Tenetra. Sheer. Yeah, sheer might do as well, Voltaire. Yeah? So, question, easy. How many are there in a dozen? As Voltaire says. So, how many are there in a dozen? And wait for the rest of you to catch up. See-through, that'll do, the Smith. Yes, Neymar, see-through. So, well done, Ismail. And Montespan, Boyka, Lolly, Victor, Charlotte, Amir, Neymar, all of these, 12. So how many are there in a dozen? Yeah? 12. Okay, and let's make another question then. How many are there in a baker's dozen? A baker's dozen. 12 in a dozen. 12 in a dozen. So how many are there in a baker's dozen? How many are there in a baker's dozen? A baker's dozen. A baker's dozen. Ah, Voltaire, you're quick today. Very definitely. Okay, so a baker's dozen is 13. So a baker's dozen is 13. Normal dozen is 12 and transparent. Okay, a baker's dozen is 13 because in the old days, if a baker sold bread that was underweight, he was very liable to be executed. So he used to put 13 in a dozen, and like that, he always had more than enough bread. Okay, and final one. Where would you find a platform? Where would you find a platform? A platform. Where would you find a platform? Yeah, a baker's dozen is 13. Set of 13, exactly, Rizgar. Well done. Okay, so, where would you find a platform? Where would you find a platform? A platform. In several different traces. So, Voltaire. So the baker's dozens are quite opaque. Yes, they're quite opaque. So, Anne Boyka, in a train station, a platform, in internet, yeah, that would work. Naima, Facebook, Abadir, train station, DeSmith station. So, again, a platform, yeah, Rizgar, train, Beauty at the train station, Montespan at the train station, Andreas, good, Naima, I like internet as an answer, Manu, good, and DeSmith railway station. In a theatre, yeah, I think in a theatre I might call it a stage. Yeah, you could call it a platform, but I might call it a stage as well. So again, railway station. iswearenglish, it's my platform. A building. Maybe. Yeah, to when you're repairing it. At a show. I would probably call it the stage, but a platform might work. Tenetra, railway station. Haida, bus station. At a train station, Montespan. At an airport, a platform. Yeah, they're platforms at airports. Online, absolutely, Lizzie. And internet, Reza. In some discos, absolutely, Javi. Victor, there are many places where you would find a platform. In a catwalk. So, a catwalk, yeah? A catwalk where the fashion models go. Gertrudis at a train station. Renya. Shoes with a thick bottom. Good. Sergey. Railway station. Mannequin, a YouTube platform. At a podium. Yeah, a podium's a platform. Part of a bus as well. Online again. At the speaker's corner. Notice, Montespan, we don't use the. We just say at speaker's corner. Doesn't have an article. Dismiss, platform where one can perform. Lolly, a software platform. Victor Gabriel, a construction site. Okay, my friends, that's enough for today. You've been a brilliant group as always. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your participation. It's been real fun. Look after yourselves. I will be back next week at the same time, and we will have some more fun. So, take care.